Next, we're going to have an organization called the American Police Officers Alliance. And I've been working with them now for about 3 or 4 years. And we just keep getting closer and closer. And so we want to hear from the executive director of the APOA, Dan Stuebs. Dan, come on up.
Hello, everyone. As Sheriff Mack said, I'm Daniel Stuebs, the Executive Director of the American Police Officers Alliance. A little bit about myself. I was born and raised in Wisconsin, in a small town. This better? Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. A little about myself. I was born and raised in a small town in Wisconsin. My father is an immigrant. He came here from Germany with his parents in the 50s. He met my mother at their high school, and they've been married ever since. They sent me to a Lutheran grade school, Lutheran high school, and then I proceeded to go on to college at UWM Milwaukee and graduate with a degree in history. I've been in politics ever since 2012, and now I'm the executive director for the American Police Officers Alliance. I met my wife online. We had our first date watching a Packer game, and they lost in the playoffs. That was sad. So now we live in our condo. We have our 2-year-old kid who takes up most of our time to make sure he doesn't do anything that would get himself severely hurt. And good Lord, he tries unintentionally. So a little bit about APOA is we were founded in 2018 because a group of people saw a need for civilian organization to help support our law enforcement. Ever since 2016, our law enforcement have been under attack from the media and being portrayed in such a negative light which affects morale and just general policing in general. We have been partnering with Sheriff Mack for the last few years. We've done events with him in Texas, Illinois, New York, and now we're here in Florida, and we look forward to continuing to do work with him in the future. The main topic today I'm going to speak about is the need for constitutional sheriffs and how politicians are using law enforcement to either benefit themselves or just preventing them from doing their jobs. So, as Sheriff Mackin said, the sheriff is the highest ranking law enforcement executive in the county. He's elected by the people and takes the same oath of office that all elected officials take, to swear and protect the Constitution and our civil liberties. Because we are now in an era where, whether it's local, state, or federal governments, are trying to infringe on our rights. And we can all agree that all American citizens in this country deserve to have their rights protected in the Constitution, and that no agency should infringe on those rights. And since the sheriff is elected by the people, that's where he comes in to actually protect our constitutional rights. Now, there are also politicians out there who are using law enforcement to actually benefit themselves or just not support them. My prime example is the super mayor out of Dalton, Illinois, Mayor Tiffany Henyard, where she has been caught using the police as her own personal butler service. She has used them to drive her around throughout the day, have them done errands for her, and this has racked up thousands upon thousands of dollars of overtime for the city of Dalton. And for a small town of 20,000 people, that's a fair amount of money. But on the bright side now, Tiffany Henyard is now under FBI investigation for corruption and for corruption and mismanagement of taxpayer funds. And Dalton even hired Lori Lightfoot to come and actually investigate their funds. And that's, when you're bringing in Lori Lightfoot to investigate your funds, you know it's bad. Now, and there's other prime examples of where law enforcement is just being told you can't do your job. Example, in Milwaukee, we have the Kia boys. They basically go around and steal Kia cars because there's something with the cars that makes them very easy to steal. And side note, the city of Baltimore actually did try to sue Kia because their cars were too easy to steal. I had to double check this story to make sure it wasn't from The Onion. And lo and behold, it was not. It actually did happen. And with this, why should the police officers stop them? Because the vast majority of them get a slap on the wrist. There's even video of one of the Kia boys talking to a reporter and saying, there's basically no consequences. I'll get put in jail for like a month, and then I'll be back on the street, and then he'll do it again. Another example, Minneapolis. They tried to actually pass a ballot measure to where it would have eliminated the police department and replaced it with the Office of Public Safety. Thankfully, that ballot measure failed, and they still have their police department. The other issue is with immigration. A lot of cities, like Denver, they have passed sanctuary city status. And once the immigrants get to Denver, since the officers and police are not allowed to work with ICE, the immigrants will just flow out into the suburbs. And there's reports coming out of Aurora, Colorado, that Venezuelan gangs have taken over apartment complexes and are using them for criminal activity. So that's another prime example of how politicians are not helping law enforcement do their job. So in conclusion, that is where all of you can come in to help stop this. If you see a constitutional sheriff being elected in your county, help him get elected. Do doors, phone calls, events, help him get elected. If you see a pro-police ballot measure or an anti-police ballot measure, you can vote against it if it's bad or vote for it if it is good. And if you see any legislation that is either pro or anti-police, call your representative and tell them to either support it or not support it. And if they don't listen to you, get them out of office and vote them out of office. And we need to help our police because police morale is at an all-time low. Recruiting numbers are down. And if we continue this of being anti-police, it's only going to be a matter of time before police can't respond to every crime or any crime. So, and that is all I have. So, Mr. Mack, oh, there you go. Thank you for your attention.